going to show you how you can create your own infographic using this site called Easily. That's www.easel.ly. Once you log into that site, once you navigate to that page, you need to first up register. So click the registration button here and it will ask you for an email address. You nominate a username and password and then you can basically start straight away. So I've already done that. I'm going to log in. And then we go basically back to the same page, except now what we have here is a row dedicated to your infographics that you've already created. So I've had a couple of trial goes here and created an infographic that I'm going to embed, or I already have. I've finished one and I'm going to embed it onto our library website. But I'm going to show you how you can easily do your own by recreating the same one. So a good idea is to start off having a fair idea of what you want your end product to look like. So if you plan out the way you want your infographic to come out, if you decide what data you need, what knowledge you want to add, have that all in place. Have a look at the templates here that are on offer. These are templates that have already been created that you can select. So see if there's a template that's structured in a way that suits what information you are interested in representing. Then you can just start with that template and just make changes to that template. If not, you can start an infographic from scratch using this Start Fresh option. So the one I'm obviously going to choose is this one here, which is the walkway. So click on the template that you're interested in using, and it's going to load in what's called this creation board, and it already has data built into it. We've got some objects embedded already. So to get started, I'm just going to run you through the top here. Here are our themes, so that those themes will take you back to that page that we were at. So you can change the look of your infographic, you can change your template if you decide to change your mind. Here are our objects that we have access to. So there are a number of different categories of objects down the side here. When we hover over this section, it'll run you through different types of animals that you can bring into your infographic. There are banners that you can select, different icons. There's music, nature, people, and transportation. There's a variety of different categories. So you can choose any of these. So if I decide I want to put a guitar here onto my site, I just pick up the object and drag it onto my template and it'll bring it in. I can change the background. So if I decide I don't like the way it looks there, I can change that background. I could choose a wood grain one here. So again, drag it onto your board and it will replace the existing background with the one you've just chosen. And if you have a look at it and you think, oh no, that's nothing like what I thought it would look like, then you can find your background that that template came with and bring that back. So we've got backgrounds here, we've got shapes. So there are arrows. We can slide along this indicator here and bring up more shapes. We can bring in different types of text. So this title is the title text. And here we have header text. So if we drag that over onto our template, we have a different kind of text that we can use. I'm just going to move that over there. And we've also got the body text that we can use, text that you would use for the body of your infographic. If in those objects there wasn't a particular image that you were after, you can upload your own. So you can look around in Microsoft clip art and see if there is some clip art that you would like to upload. Just remember, when you do, if you do want to do that, save your clip art into your documents, but then you might need to do some editing work where you remove the background to that clip art. Otherwise, when you bring it in, it may bring that clip art in with a white background. So you get this square border around it, and then your clip art in the center and the rest of it's filled in white, and that might not look exactly the way you would like it to look. So you might need to do some editing on any images that you want to upload before you do that. If you want to concentrate on any particular area, if you need to really zoom in here to see what you need to do, then you can click this plus sign here and it will bring you into your infographic. I'll just pull it back out. And we might get started then in changing this template here. So I brought in this header text that I don't want, and you can see these handles that have come up just like a normal text box. So if I hit the delete key, that will remove that text box. I want to change this to actually represent the title of my infographic. So I click on it, I've clicked on it once, but I double click on it and it will bring up this box to the side. To do that again. And now I can change my title in this box. So I'm going to call this Welcome to Your Library. I spelled that. And it has a shadow effect at the back here, so I'm going to just drag this down a little. And I don't think I'm going to use that because that'll just be a bit too fiddly for me for the time being. So I'm just going to delete that at the back. Now I need to resize this, so I'm just going to move the handles in until I get it to the size that I would like it, and then reposition it. I'm just going to click on the guitar and delete it. Now you can see that when I click on this text here, that's not the best color to have because of the cloud in the background. So when I click into that box, I can change the color of that text by hitting this color icon and then selecting a different color for that text. So I'm going to stick with most likely the color scheme here, although I'm going to go dark green perhaps. There you go. I think I'll leave it at that. So there's the title. That's how you edit the text in your template. Now, the reason why I've chosen this one for the library infographic is because there are these signposts along the road, and I'm going to change the signposts to represent each of the different choices that you can make when you hop on the library site from the main menu. So the very first choice in the main menu is the home page. So I'm going to change 2007. I double clicked on that. It's brought up this box. I'm going to change that to home, so that fits nicely in that sign. The next selection in the main menu, which is going to be represented in this sign here, is information. So I'm going to delete the year and key in information, and you can see that the sign isn't quite big enough for that word, so I'm going to click on the sign and not pick it up by the corner, but pick it up by the center here so I can make it longer. Yep, that's perfect. And so this little guy is running towards information because there's something he wants to access from that. So I'm going to change this here to represent what you can find in this selection of the main menu. So I'm going to replace that with what is a RSS feed. So he wants to know what an RSS feed is. Now, rather than making this orange bubble bigger, I'm just going to insert some returns in that line. To be able to do that so I can see what I'm doing, I'm going to just drag that box wider by dragging from this corner here. And then I'm going to put some page or some line ends, some line breaks there. Okay, that's better. And I might make that font a little bit smaller, so I'm going to drag in from the corner and resize the font. There you go. So I'm just going to work my way around that road, making all the changes to each of those stages so that I can represent what you can do when you go onto the library site. These are all the choices you can make. Now, one other thing that you can do here is if you want to replicate this little man here, then click on him and go up to the top here and select the clone tool. So you can clone an item. So when you click that, you get the exact representation of him again. So you can do that as many times as you like. Now if I want to change his colour, just click on colour and I can make him perhaps red rather than black. Or you can keep him as black. So work your way through the template, making the changes that you want to make. Don't forget to use all the different tools that you have available here. When you're finished, save your work by clicking save up the top here. Give your work a title. This is going to be trial 4 and then hit save. When that work is saved, it will take you, we'll go back to the home page and I'll show you one last thing that you can do with your infographic. So if you were creating this to bring into an assignment, at that previous page there you could do a screenshot of your infographic and you could bring it into your report or into a PowerPoint slide. But if you're actually doing one to embed into a website, then clicked on the wrong one, so I'm just going to go back here. So if you were doing this into a report, you would just do a screenshot of that entire infographic at this point here. So I've returned to the creation tool section. But if you were wanting to embed that into a website, then underneath the infographic here, we've got this view share. So click on that and it gives you an embed code that you can copy and paste into the HTML page of your website. So I'll show you what that ends up looking, because this is our library site here. And here we have, just click out of that, here we have the infographic that I created on our home page embedded. So I haven't copied and pasted there, I've just used that code. And that's how you do an infographic using Easily.